could you take out trash today?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. Now, we can get to work. Load!
Defeat.
Fuck this. I can't. I need a new game. I'm done. Deadlock. Oh yeah, people were talking about that game a little while ago. I should try it. You need an invite code to get in. Right, that's why. Okay. I can ask him. He can give me an invite code. Okay.
Yo.
Hey Flarm, buddy, pal.
What do you want?
I was wondering if you could send me an invite code for Deadlock.
Once you make your video on All You Need Is Kill.
What?
Yeah, I sent you the book forever ago and you said you'd do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got it somewhere. Here, yeah, I got it. I will do that later. Okay.
You should probably do it soon. I'll send you an invite when you do, but the beta isn't open forever. Don't know when it's gonna close.
But it takes a while to make a video like that. Did you say beta?
Not my problem. You do this to yourself. You want the invite code? Make the video. Preferably by the end of the day.
That is not nearly enough time. I mean, I would have to read this. I'd have to take notes, plan out a title, make the thumbnail, plan out the script, write the script, record everything, edit it all down, upload it.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna take easily
crazy.
More than today.
I could start the day over for you.
I'm sorry, run that by me again. What?
You know, like Groundhog's Day or whatever.
You can't do that.
Wanna bet?
Yeah, you know what? I do.
That was weird.
Hey, could you take out trash today?
I already did.
No, you didn't. Still over there.
What are you talking about? Okay. I guess. Yeah, I'll get it. I already shaved.
Hello?
Yo, you start the video yet?
What?
You know, I started the day over so you can make that video, so I can send you the beta invite.
That actually happened?
Yeah, and it's gonna keep happening over and over and over until you make the video.
No, I'm not dealing with this supernatural shit again. God!
What? What do you want? I'm busy.
Can you stop this whole day starting over thing? Like, before it even begins, can you just knock that shit out?
Nope. Too busy. Damn it, Vindicta, stop feeding the haze!
Are you playing Deadlock?
Who do you think sent him the invite?
You have God on Steam?
Anyways, I have things to do. Good luck with whatever it is you were talking about. I wasn't listening. Fuck you, don't call.
Unbelievable.
Well, you better get started. You only have a couple hours left of the day.
Wait, and he hangs up on me again. Okay. If I'm gonna do this, I need to do some research. I'm vaguely familiar with the title. I think I read the manga like 10 years ago. So I guess we can start there. All You Need Is Skill was a novel written by Hiroshi Sakurazaka in 2004, and this would spawn multiple adaptations, those being a manga, a graphic novel. Trust me, these are completely different, and one is significantly worse. I bet you'll never guess which one. And finally, a live-action movie starring Tom Cruise. I don't want to read the actual book, and I remember liking the manga, so I'm going to be covering that and only that. Do not look at the chapters. I'll just cover the topic as I experienced it. See, I started this manga whenever it was first published, which I was in high school at the time. God, I hate that. I remember reading it on the back of the bus with my good friend Vincent. We would share a seat together, and then we would use my phone, and we would just hold it, and then we would both read, and as soon as we were done, we'd let each other know. We'd go to the next page, read it that way. We would take turns on what we read next. I would pick a manga, and then he would pick a manga, and I got to experience a lot of mangas I probably wouldn't have read otherwise. This is also how I found out about Sunken Rock, because Vincent recommended it to me, then we read some of it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is good. I should do a video on Sunken Rock at some point. I'm gonna have a little bit of nostalgia going into this, and I'm gonna do my best to put the nostalgia to the side and critically look at this without just glazing it like I'm a fucking Dunkin' Donuts. The manga was released in 2014, 10 years after the original novel, and 10 years ago from the creation of this video. It was storyboarded by Ryosuke Takeuchi and illustrated by Takeshi Obata. It's only 2 volumes, being 17 chapters, but the first one's like a double-length chapter, so it's really like 18 chapters at 30 pages apiece, meaning you can probably read the whole thing in like 45 minutes. If you haven't already, do yourself a favor, pause and go read it yourself, because after this point, I'm gonna spoil a little bit of the story here and there, and this is worth reading on your own. I won't be explaining the full story, because if I did, I would have to do that multiple times, and every time it would be just slightly different, and I'd rather not. The closest to the original novel in terms of story is the manga, so if you don't feel like spending 8 hours reading a boring ass book that doesn't have any pictures, you can just read the manga instead and get a pretty close experience, I think. Haven't read the book yet because there is no pictures at all. I am a child. The manga is gorgeous, not just the full spreads that are useful as potential YouTube thumbnails, shut up, but also the individual panels that show how much of a toll our protagonist is taking during this story, because this isn't just an action manga, but a psychological story as well, exploring what it would be like if you were forced to live the same day over and over, knowing that you're likely going to die repeatedly, feeling all of that pain every single time, and the mental deterioration that psychological trauma can induce on a person. Today I learned that a thesaurus helps you use fancy words and is not a dinosaur. So, brief synopsis of the story in case you didn't go read it. We open on a page of our main character Keiji Kiriya dying. This isn't an isekai, don't worry. As he dies, another soldier asks him if they serve green tea for free at the end of your meals in Japan. Confusing, I know. They are Rita Bertaski, and they will stay with him until he dies. He then wakes up the day before the big battle that he just died in. He goes about his daily routine, very confused about the dream he just had, until it's time to cosplay as your typical Texan high school student. Trust me, I know a thing or two about Texas. Yeehaw. Oh my god, this hurts. It's like the third take. Oh my god. They gear up in these specialized mech suits to fight these aliens called mimics, and the reason they're called that doesn't really get explained in the manga. I wonder if another version talked about that. Doesn't matter, the only thing I'll knock off points for is that the alien design in the manga, while super neat looking, isn't exactly super faithful to the descriptions in the book. Not that I've read the book yet. Moving on, he dies again, and then he wakes up, sparking the beginning of the loops as Keiji has to deal with the fact that he has to fight because otherwise he will continue to die over and over and over again, and the only way out of the loop is to beat the mimics. That's the gist of the story, but like, with more detail. Every other version of this story follows the same setup and only really gets different in how they approach that fantastic ending, except for the movie. But this isn't about the movie yet. I could sit here and sing the praises of the manga, and I do like to yap about things I like, but this is just one of those mangas that I can't help but recommend that you read for yourself, because it's not just the story, because they didn't write or like change the story. What makes the manga so good is the execution of everything else. Also, the manga is probably just a lower barrier to entry than the book is, both in the fact that the brevity of it, it's a lot shorter, it's a lot easier to read through because the chapters are more condensed, but also the pictures are able to convey that story and are more just visually appealing to look at for people. And I think it's for those reasons that the manga hooks people faster and is able to outperform the book, and I think that's probably why the manga sold better than the book did. I could lie and say that I looked up the statistics to be able to definitively prove that. I would be lying, but I could. I should probably look it up. Give me a second. Okay, I looked it up. I don't have 100% hard numbers because I just can't find them. But according to Barnes & Noble, All You Need Is Kill, the manga, is sitting at the sales rank of 103,532, whereas the novel is sitting at 151,758. So I believe that the manga did in fact sell more than the book. On this one website, it sold better. So clearly that's just how it is everywhere. But despite all of that, I still feel like this is more of a cult classic, because it seems some people know about it, but it always gets left out of discussions when people talk about sci-fi or time travel related manga. Like, people just forget about it, which is such a shame, because when it does get brought up, finally, people tend to have nothing but praise for it, and rightfully so. I don't know. It just makes me a little sad that it seems to have been forgotten to time, which I know is very, very ironic. I feel like I'm just rambling now. Like, there's no way this is going to be enough to make a full video. And I am not qualified nearly enough to make like a 3-hour deep dive into this manga, because I make videos on anime fan servers and gooning. I probably need to let flarmji know the video's a bust.
Konnichiwa, bitch!
Hey, you don't speak Japanese. Anyways, I don't know about this video. I might scrap it. It's just not a whole lot to be able to go off of, and I can't really make a decent video out of it unless I do like a 3-hour video going through the manga panel by panel.
You didn't read the book, did you?
No, I read the manga. I'm a weeb. I'm not a nerd.
Bro, just read it. The Deadlock beta could end at any time, but you have all the time in the world, right?
What? Oh, you mean the motherfucker?
God, I hate this.
Hey, could you take out trash today?
Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna kill him.
Fucking done. Shit. Okay. Let's do this again. Okay. Read the fucking book. Okay. I'm not reading a book without pictures. I mean, there's the graphic novel. Why not? It's got pictures. It has novel in it, according to the Amazon listing. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Imagine if I did like the H-Bomber guy foreshadowing as a literary device. The graphic novel was made. That's the nicest thing I can say about it. Okay, that's not entirely true. The alien design in the graphic novel is shockingly the most faithful to the original book's description that I totally have not read yet. This version was written by Nick Mamadas and illustrated by Lee Ferguson. Now, I say written because even though it was already written by someone else, this is the shortened flashcard version that basically means that the story needed to be edited down. A lot. The manga's pacing was fantastic. 17 chapters, 30 pages apiece, that's like 540 pages, and that gives you just enough time to let each scene breathe while keeping the pace fast enough to keep you engaged, and by the time it ended, it felt like it was the right time, but also left you wanting just a bit more. But the graphic novel was a single issue and condensed the entire story into just 90 pages. That's the same number of pages as if you read the first 2 chapters of the manga, but it's even worse because there's fewer words per page in the graphic novel, so that 90-page count is being super generous. Because of this, certain things just get cut out entirely for the sake of fitting everything else in, and the things that do make it in are still nerfed by the fact that not enough time is given to those ideas to let them be realized and hook you. An example of this is the number on the back of Keiji's hand. In the manga, he uses this to track the number of loops he's gone through. He starts tracking them at 5, and the manga then keeps track of how many loops he's been through so the audience can understand just how many times he's died. And at the end of the manga, we get a panel of Keiji's hand with the number on the back of it fading away, indicating that he hasn't had to write a new number for some time because he escaped the loops. But in the graphic novel, the first time it's ever brought up is by an engineer that Keiji speaks to. They ask him why he has a number on his hand, and he tells her, but the number is already at 47. And I double checked, at no point in this version do you even catch a glimpse of the number on the back of his hand before this page. So they can't make the argument of, oh, it was there, you would have seen it if you were paying attention. If they made that a small Easter egg in the earlier pages, I would have enjoyed that, but no! I guess I'll also go ahead and address the art style here. I'm not the biggest fan. It doesn't look bad. I think it's solid and gets the images across in a way that is functional. I just don't think I'm the target audience for this type of media. It looks like they went for a DC Comics vibe, which makes sense because Lee Michael Ferguson has worked in comics for a while, including with DC as well as Marvel. Funny enough, despite the credits given to him here, there's no mention of his work on this graphic novel anywhere else, including his Instagram posts. Yes, I checked them all, as well as his page on Canvas Rebel where he gives his full story. So either this was such a small project that he felt wasn't worth putting anywhere on his resumes or socials, or he just forgot that he did, or it was intentionally left out, or this book is lying to me and he never worked on it. We'll probably never know. I reached out to him on Instagram and I did not get a response, so I'm sorry, I tried. Okay, editor's note. I decided to go and check Nick Mamadis' website to see if maybe he had something there that I could then link back to Ferguson. No, he's got nothing. His website has absolutely nothing about All You Need Is Kill. I go to his Wikipedia page. It lists all of his work. Nothing has All You Need Is Kill. So either him and Ferguson decided that they're gonna just bury it and never talk about it again, or someone else made it and then put their names on it. And I don't know which one is funnier to me, but I've got no answers. I'm sorry, I tried. Either way, the art is passable. The problem is the writing, or the lack thereof. And genuinely, I think this has more to do with the limitation of it being only 90 pages. I don't know why it's so short, or like why they only commissioned a single issue of it. Because like clearly this needs more than 90 pages to tell the full story. And I don't even blame the writer here, assuming it wasn't his idea to make it this short in the first place. It's one of those weird cases where it's so bad, the only way to make it better is to make more of it. That way it gives time for the story to breathe and it doesn't feel like you're reading a drunken string of texts. Jesus, this has made me feel drunk. The only reason I could think of as to why it was only a single issue is that it's an ad. At the end, it directly tells you to go read the novel by Hiroshi, as well as like another book that Hiroshi had written. And below that, it also mentions the feature film, Edge of Tomorrow. This is what it's an ad for, by the way. But that's it. You could read the whole issue in less than 15 minutes, and I think you're better off not. Truthfully, the only reason I have this and I tried to do something with it is that whenever I tried to purchase the book a while back on Amazon, I saw the listing and I saw novel in the title, and so I bought it without seeing the word graphic right in front of the novel because I might be the ADHD and I'm stupid. I wonder if I can trick flarmji the same way. He's stupid enough, right? You know, just tell him like the graphic novel wasn't good or worth talking about in any way, even though I just spent the last while talking about it. I told you, I'm stupid. Okay, since it's a DM, I'm gonna hope he reads it the same way I did.
The graphic novel, like the comic, you read the graphic novel instead of the actual book. Are you stupid?
No.
Don't answer that. Don't need you to hurt yourself. We'll just try again today.
What does he mean, try again today?
Hey, could you take out trash today?
Yeah, I got it. I'm sorry, you did not deserve that.
So fucking done. Shit.
This isn't even worth it.
It's earlier than usual? What?
Yo, 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 yo.
What do you want?
Did you not shave today?
I don't even have my camera on. How do you know that?
You're like 10 minutes earlier than usual. So I'm guessing you skipped shaving since you felt like it was a waste of time if the day starts again?
I bet you feel so smart.
And I bet you feel annoyed.
Can we just stop this? Like, I don't need access to Deadlock.
Nope. No can do, muchacho.
You don't speak Spanish.
You wanted to play the new game. I'm not letting you quit just because it got difficult.
You could just send me an invite and end my suffering.
And then what? Validate that quitting should be rewarded?
I mean, sunk cost fallacy.
You're not smart enough to know what that means.
Yes, I am. Can we move on, please?
Are you going to read the book?
Not if I can help it.
Then I'll see you again today. And today, and today, and today, until you find a way to handle your executive dysfunction and do the one thing you know you need to do. On the bright side, you don't have to worry about how much time you're going to lose. No matter how long it takes. A week, a month, a year, a decade. It will get done. Today. Good luck.
Well, if I've got all the time in the world, probably watch a movie. Edge of Tomorrow is a movie directed by Doug Liman and stars Emily Blunt and South Park's favorite fudge packer. You probably think that reference sounds shoehorned in. You're right. This movie is a whirlwind, and not in a way to indicate that the film is a complete emotional experience that feels like they've carved out your heart, tenderized it with a mallet, grilled it over charcoal, and served it back to you at a perfect medium rare. When I say it's a whirlwind, I mean that it isn't good. I could sit here and roast this movie for a couple reasons. It'd mainly be for stupid reasons, like their overuse of the line, "Do I have something on my face?" which was said in the original book once. They said it like 3 times in the movie at different points for different reasons. It's stupid. Or I could mention the fact that it takes the movie 30 minutes for us to reach the starting point of the manga and the novel, so we can follow William Cage. See, his name is Cage, which is close to Keiji, which the book and the manga reference at the end when American soldiers start referring to him as Killer Cage. But instead of hiring a Japanese actor or even someone vaguely Asian looking, they chose Tom Cruise, and he wasn't their first pick. He was their backup pick. Originally, they wanted Brad Pitt for this movie, but he declined. Good for him. Truthfully, while I do have a lot of negative things to say about this movie, from the writing, to the dialogue, to the acting, to the music choices, I can boil the worst of it down to 2 specific reasons. And the first reason is the screenwriters, and the second reason is Tom Cruise. I'll explain, give me a second. The screenplay was not written by one person, or even a small team of 3 to 4 people. It's much more convoluted than that, and to explain it to you, there's no better way than to read the development development and writing section of the movie's Wikipedia page. And if you're gonna come at me saying, Wikipedia can be changed by anyone, first off, you're stupid. But second, you see those little numbers at the end of some sentences? Click that. It's the source link. Click on that hyperlink, bam! Direct source. Use Wikipedia correctly. It's so much easier and your English teacher will complain marginally less. Now, here's a brief synopsis of the writing and development of Edge of Tomorrow. You guys are not gonna be ready for this. It was started in 2009 by 3 Arts Entertainment and Viz Media, and instead of making a standard pitch to a movie studio, the company developed a spec script to show the studios instead. A spec script is a speculative script that they'll write and then pitch to a studio to try to get them to pick up that script so that they can then make a full movie out of it. Think of it like a cover page for your resume. Also, I'm gonna make a list of every single person who wrote the script for this movie. How long do you think it's gonna be? Erwin Stoff, who was a producer, approached writer Dante Harper and sent him a copy of the novel. Harper found the book to be too complex to properly adapt, but decided to take the job anyways, even though he was probably not gonna get paid, and took 8 months to write the final script. And then in 2010, it was featured on the Blacklist, which was a survey of a list of the most liked but unproduced screenplays. So in June of 2011, Joby Harold was hired to rework the screenplay. And then after Brad Pitt had declined the opportunity, Tom Cruise took the lead role, meaning they had to change the age of the protagonist. That's not technically a writer change. Yet, in 2012, screenwriting duo Roberto Orsi and Alex Kurtzman also delivered a draft of their own. That's 2 more writers, and this next section I will be reading from the page verbatim. 6 months before filming started, Lehman discarded 2/3 of Harper's original script. Then Jez Butterworth and John Henry Butterworth were hired to rewrite the script. Screenwriter Simon Kinberg took over from the Butterworths, and 8 weeks before the start of filming, he was replaced by Christopher McQuarrie. Then when McQuarrie took over the script, he said he understood very clearly what the premise of the story was and what they were looking for in terms of characters. However, even though the original script was dark, Tom Cruise stressed the importance of the story's humor to McQuarrie, so fuck it, if Tom Cruise is going to directly influence the writer's decision, he's getting writing credits on my list. One of Cruise's quotes during production was, "It's fun coming up with ways to kill yourself," which is a wild statement out of context. And after all of this, the screenplay still did not have a satisfactory ending, despite the fact that it's based on a book that already had an amazing ending. Oh, but surely they would finish the script before filming, right? Lehman opted to finish the script during principal photography. Eventually, McQuarrie considered that focusing on the comedic aspects meant it needed to end in a way that wasn't harsh, and thus opted to end the plot where it started. His reason for making such a drastic change to the story? Comedies generally have to go back to the way things were. You're a fucking idiot. You only made that decision after listening to Tom Cruise, the man notorious for making changes on set so he can do whatever the hell he wants. You caved, you coward. Just tell him no. It's only Tom Cruise. What could go wrong? The most famous example of Cruise doing this was in the Mummy remake, where he had them rewrite the script to give his character more screen time, and then he brought in his own editor to do a cut of the movie, and that plane scene from the movie was entirely his idea. Also, I like to think that he's the main reason that Universal Pictures' Dark Universe, which is supposed to be like their response to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but with fucking Frankenstein, I think it died in a large part due to Cruise's handling of their debut film. That and the cinematic universe made no sense at all. Like, I'll give him credit where it's due. Almost no one does what he does in terms of acting and stunts. He does all of his own stunts, and he puts his life on the line plenty. Plus, he can act. Sometimes. But around this time, God, it was awful. His acting here is mediocre at best, and he can tell that he had fun finding ways to unalive himself because it meant he got to do more stunts, but he's a character actor. He plays Tom Cruise, and this story did not need Tom Cruise. I know I've spent a while talking about the production of the movie instead of what the movie is, and that's because the movie is so much nothing. Like, the mimics don't look anything like the book, manga, or the graphic novel. They look closer to the mimics from Prey, which actually came out after this movie, so maybe Edge of Tomorrow inspired Prey. Who knows? I don't like the main character. He's a cowardly little bitch that only becomes a fighter because he literally can't do anything else besides fight back or die a lot. In the manga, Keiji fights back because I mean, he's also stuck in the loop, but he's angry at the world for putting him in this position, so he decides that he's going to fight out of spite. Cruz's character is fighting because he just wants out of the loop. Also, the movie does this whole thing where they randomly lose the ability to loop because they had a blood transfusion, as if the power to loop was literally in their blood. No. More spoilers. Keiji kills the special mimic in the first loop, but he got unlucky and absorbed something from the mimic as it died. The special mimics release tachyon particles, which are theorized to exist, but are also impossible with our current understanding of physics. Anyways, in this universe, these can be absorbed by a person's brain. The ability to loop was because of these particles, and every time he loops and goes back to the battlefield, he absorbs more particles until eventually his brain becomes part of the mimic's network. He remembers time restarting, and so do the mimics. And if he doesn't execute the special mimic in a specific way, his brain will act as the trigger to restart the loop. That's why in the manga, he develops migraines. These are the particles affecting his brain. The movie references this, I think. It's a one-off line that kinda comes out of nowhere in a blink and you miss it moment.
What's that noise? Let's go.
That was it, by the way. I don't know if you saw, that was it. But in the movie, Cruz kills this special mimic with a claymore, like he's camping at the top of High Rise in Modern Warfare 2. The good one. And when the mimic dies, its blood spills onto Tom Cruise, and that's where he gets his powers. In the book, tachyon particles, that kind of makes sense because we theorize that they can maybe do some stuff with time, maybe. But in the movie, they don't ever explain why the alien blood does it. They're just like, yeah, it's alien blood. You know, it does a thing. It's alien blood. Kinda silly. So when they do a blood transfusion, oops, no more powers! Even though when it reset, the alien blood wouldn't have been in him to begin with because he doesn't kill that mimic again. Also, we don't really know if he lost the power. He just says he can feel that the power is gone, like it's some type of buff that was applied to him that suddenly wore off. And he only thinks this because Rita lost her powers the same way, which is also completely unprovable because she won her fight and we haven't seen her die and reset her own loop. So we're all just making assumptions here. And at the end of this movie, his squad is dead, Rita is dead, Cruz is dying, and suddenly, oh, alien eyes, what's happening? Oh, and the day resets again, but much further back this time. Not the day before the fight, 2 days before the fight. That's like 3 times as much time. Wait, he then finds Rita again, who still doesn't know who he is because the time is reset every time they met, and then they play this fucking song. Man, I hope I don't get copyright claimed for that. And no, you're not clever. This movie sucked. And the worst part is that even if the day resets, I'm still gonna remember it. Fuck! Restart the day.
I was gonna ask if you knew how to replace the heating element in a dryer.
Why would I know that?
Look, you could have just said no. You didn't have to be a dick about it.
Just restart the day, for the love of God.
Leave me out. Vindicta, you feeding fuck! Oh, I forgot I was hot micing.
So what happened? You finally get annoyed enough to do the one simple thing you've been putting off?
Yeah. Let's do this.
Hey, could you take out trash today?
Yeah. No problem.
Good, see you in a bit.
Fuck. This is gonna take like 5 hours to read. Nope. It took 6. The novel For All You Need Is Kill is good, and I mean like really good. It's not shocking to see why this book spawned so many adaptations and inspired so many other series. Even after reading the manga, the graphic novel, watching the absolute fever dream of Edge of Tomorrow, I still really like this book, and I'll admit, at the end, I still teared up a bit. Like, I didn't cry much. It's incredibly well written, and it just makes so much sense, which really should not be a high bar when it comes to writing a book. But in science fiction, especially with works using time as like the main idea, whether it be time travel, looping, or whatever other idea someone could come up with, it's really easy to just get lost in the sauce and make things way overcomplicated way too quickly. And that's not even counting like the needlessly large vocabularies that come with most franchises that are unique to that franchise. There's a fire truck going by right now. That didn't happen last time. I don't know if y'all can hear that, dude. The fire trucks are going insane right now. I might need to have flarmji restart the day again. I don't know what happened. Needlessly large and complex vocabularies aren't exclusive to sci-fi, and they are prevalent in other genres as well. Looking at you, high fantasy, but it's an example that adds to the list of things that could make it really difficult for someone to get into a franchise whenever they don't have any pre-existing knowledge. All You Need to Skill handles this almost flawlessly. It explains everything in simple terms. The aliens are called mimics because they mimic the biology of whatever they come across, and that's a word that already exists in most languages, I think. I'm not an entomologist. Is that what an entomologist is? Hold on. An entomologist is a scientist who studies insects. What is it when someone studies words? Linguistics, the study of language. Someone who studies language. Etymologist, a person who studies the origin and history of words. Okay, etymologist, not entomologist. I was close. I was dumb. I was wrong. I was close. Don't let me live that down. Bully me for that. I deserve it. Get up on my pedestal, say something completely wrong. I'm leaving that in the video, I don't care. But stuff like where the aliens came from and how they exist, they get explained in the book, and they don't get explained in like any other version of this story. They get explained in the book, but it's very brief because it doesn't really matter. The mimics aren't just aliens colonizing the Earth. The mimics are biomachines created by a set of aliens to terraform the Earth so that the aliens can move to Earth and live there because they need like a different habitat and atmosphere and stuff. So the mimics are just tools of the aliens. The creators of the mimics aren't named and don't really care about what other civilizations they may destroy. They need a new planet, and Earth happened to be the closest one to what they needed. So tough shit, I guess. The mimics are just getting rid of unnecessary Earth and life. The mimics aren't colonizing the Earth, their bosses are. That aside, as much as I could sit here and just glaze the writing of this, I do have a few issues, and it wouldn't be fair to just say good things and not say bad things. I try to be positive about other stuff, except for Edge of Tomorrow. That did not deserve any praise at all. And my issues with the book, it's really just one issue, and it might be me, like I might be the issue. Hiroshi has a habit of dragging on a little bit too long when building the scenes and setting the environment up, sometimes using multiple paragraphs to explain the exact landscape of the environment, explain what the sounds exactly sound like, what the smell of the environment is, and how every moment passes one by one by one. And I don't like this. This might just be a me thing. I'm willing to admit that. I probably have enough fucking brain rot to just be completely mind fucked. I can't focus. I'm not getting enough dopamine out of this. I don't care what the rock formation looks like if it's not integral to the story. That being said, I just don't think I'm the target audience for this particular style of writing. I love books, and despite me taking forever to read this, I used to read all the time, but I think in recent years, I've just become spoiled to other mediums just getting to the fucking point when it comes to the story and the action. Just tell me the story. Like, the manga is immediately right there when it comes to the story. We are asking questions and we are hooked 2 pages in. The first 14 pages of the book tell the same story as the first 5 panels of the manga. Like, yeah, the novel goes into way more detail, but a lot of that detail is fluff. And this is what I mean. I know a lot of people really like having like a bunch of extra detail and all that fluff. I don't mind it in moderation. This feels like I'm overdosing in setting the scene. Like, it takes time to explain in detail the fallen members of Keiji's platoon as if we know them. Like, within the first chapter, it's explaining all of these members that have died and their backgrounds. We don't know who these people are, and they are not going to come up again aside from 2 people. It tells us about 5 or 6 people that die. Only 2 of them come back in the story and have any significance. Or like explaining the way the different weapons work and how they feel to use, which can be really good for like immersion, trying to explain what it feels like for the character, the one that you are inhabiting whenever you read. But oh my god, I don't need that in the first chapter before I understand what we're really fighting for. I don't need to know the mechanics to a weapon for a war that I have no context for. I don't know which side is which at this point, but I do know that a 20mm cannon is not strong enough to pierce the carapace of a mimic. It just feels like the focus was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. All of this continues past the intro, but to a lesser degree. Like, this stops happening as much as the story progresses, which is good. And again, I admit I may not be the target audience for this, but I do know a thing or two about audience retention. Looking at my own analytics, I have a good idea of what I'm talking about whenever I say most times the general audience is not going to care about a lot of the extra fluff that the creator puts into their work. I probably lost over half of my audience within the first 30 seconds of this video for that reason. But in this, 15 pages to get into the story is like 15 to 20 minutes. I got upset with Edge of Tomorrow for doing this exact same thing, and I understand I'm also being a massive hypocrite with this video, considering how long I spent in the video before getting to even talking about anything that you probably clicked onto this video for. I'm an asshole. That being said, that's my only complaint with the book, because after that, this gets really good. I just think that the incredibly slow intro is inadvertently going to just turn a lot of people away from the story, despite the fact that once the story gets going, I think a lot of people would love this. It's kind of like JoJo's. JoJo's is insanely hard to get into because if you know nothing about JoJo's, getting into it is painful. The first couple episodes are the worst, having zero context for what's happening. It is just 2 episodes of Jonathan, I believe. I suck with the names of JoJo characters. I think 2 episodes of Jonathan torture porn. Just watch his life suck and crumble around him, and you're supposed to care. It feels like you're just playing a game with an insanely long tutorial that has to explain every single interaction of every single input, what it does to the world, how it affects everything else, and you have to go through all of that before it actually lets you play the game, which is ironic because Hiroshi based this story off of playing games. Playing the game, dying to a boss, and then going back and fighting the boss again using the new information you've learned until eventually you beat it. That's just Dark Souls at that point. That's where he got the time looping idea. You die, and then you come back. But with such a gruesomely long tutorial, I'm guessing he played Xenoblade, but that's gonna be it. I don't want to spoil any more of this. I've already spoiled a bit here and there, but I do think that you should read it for yourself. If you're even mildly interested in either sci-fi or time travel shenanigans, whatever, give it a shot. Either read the book if you have time and you would like that extra detail, or if you don't have as much time, but you still want a good experience, like a solid 8 out of 10 experience, read the manga. Just avoid the graphic novel. Like, don't read this. I am sorry to the people who made it. I'm not sorry. It's not good. Don't read it. And you could watch Edge of Tomorrow, but know that it is related to this in the loosest of like It's barely related. Fuck that movie. But if you do read it, I think you will have a fantastic experience, especially during those last few pages, because that ending, dude, God, that ending is good. This is a story I could easily see myself returning to at some point just to reread it again. I've already experienced the story 4 separate times, and I still cried. It's beautiful. I have no shame in admitting that. And now, all that's left to do is to record the video, post it for flarmji, and get this over with. One last push. Oh, okay. That's it. Message flarmji.
Check your email.
I don't have it.
Check spam.
Why is it in spam? What the fuck? No fucking way! Are you fucking serious? This is just League of Legends with extra steps! Thank you to everyone who has made it this far into the video, and a huge thanks to flarmji for putting up with my shit and participating in this absolute mess of a video. Links to all of his socials will be at the top of the description, as well as in the pinned comment. Go show him some support, please. He is a fantastic streamer, wildly entertaining. He streams almost every single day, and he's one of the nicest people I have met on my my little content creator journey. And I mean, he is nice, despite how much of an ass I might have made him in this video, and how often he yells at his chat.
Bazinga, motherfucker!
And another huge thanks to everyone who has supported me on Patreon. Look at all these names. Wow, I'm gonna fit everyone's names. I'm not gonna do a text scroll. If you support me, your name's gonna be put up here, and I am gonna shrink it to make them all fit in one frame. Thanks, Mythic, Isaac Wright. I have to read their names because I don't. People have weird ass names. QGVFX. Someone took my IGN. Relatable. Sarah and Guy Mitchell. Those are all the people who have paid me money. And a huge thank you to you for watching this video, for finishing it and making it all the way here and putting up with my bullshit. I love you all. Thank you. Go watch this video, I guess, right here. Yep, that one. Go watch that. Okay, bye.